Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our weekly stream. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Now, a confession for everyone behind the scenes. I looked into getting a really special guest for this episode. I reached out to him, and unfortunately, I could not get Buddy the dog from the cast of DC's Stargirl on this week's episode. It was very unfortunate, but I got the best next thing. I have Tactless Rhyme from the Tactless Rhyme YouTube
Nice.
channel. Buddy, how's it
Nice.
going, buddy?
I don't know. That's probably the best compliment I've ever had in my life. Like Buddy the dog from Stargirl, and I'm right under that, buddy. I'll take it.
I've
That's
been
awesome.
I've been sitting on that joke for like a week. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah,
this is peak comedy.
it
Man,
is peak
how's it
comedy.
going?
Good. Hey, so before we even get started, so I forgot to ask you this before, Darren, but how do you feel about cuss words on these streams?
I mean, as long as just don't do any slurs.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Just nothing insane. I don't care. I do it.
I like to ask because I don't know. I felt bad. I think I almost got Ben's stream demonetized one time.
Yeah, just nothing insane. I don't care.
Absolutely. I'll probably keep it PG anyways.
Yes,
That's what Lance just said too. He said keep it PG.
Yeah, that's all I care about. So I wanted to do something Stargirl related. This is one of my. I assume you might agree. This is one of my favorite of the DC TV shows. I love this show so much.
Yeah. It is my favorite.
It is. I think it's definitely the most consistent. I feel like there's almost no argument there. So I'm kind of just ready to jump right in. Just thoughts, and we'll talk about a lot of things. What are your thoughts on the final episode of Stargirl?
Honestly, I thought it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I feel like it struggled because it wasn't meant to be a series finale. From the get-go, it was kind of like one of those last minute or closer to finishing up. They filmed the two endings. So the first half I thought was maybe a little rough. But once it hit the Sylvester versus Pat fight I was like, yeah, no, they nailed it. And I love that scene with the shade at the end with Jay Garrick. That stuff was really, really good. I feel like the back half was stronger than the first half, but I feel like that doesn't even really matter because holy shit, that twist with the Ultra Humanite, that entire whole thing, the fact that they nailed that, I don't care if the episode was dog doo-doo. Okay. Yeah. They nailed it. They landed that ending. And I'm so happy with Stargirl season 3. And even if I have problems with the finale, I still love it. It was wonderful. And I cried I think 3 times it got me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think I would agree for the most part. I remember up until the battle, even halfway through, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. And that might just be purely because I had insane expectations. Like season 2 and season 1 had such an expert finales. Yeah. They're some of my favorite hours of television. The whole season 2 finale, we got Grundy, we got the entire team lined up. We have so everything, even I would even say up to the final fight, I think I was like, this is good, but I kind of wanted more. And then that back half with which I think is where it almost soars, is these character moments.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they nailed all that. And 100%. Again, we have to remember, I think a lot of people are forgetting, this wasn't supposed to be a series finale. This wasn't supposed to be the ending for these characters. We were supposed to get at least 2 more seasons. So I think they did a pretty good job. Now, did you like that final fight? The final, what was it? A car?
The junkyard.
The junkyard, area. That's it.
I feel like my only problem was Stargirl's really good when it comes to its choreography. I love the wire work. I love how they do what was my biggest compliment with Age of Ultron, having those powers be combined, in that opening scene where you see Thor and Cap kind of doing their powers together. I felt Stargirl was very good with that as well. In season 2, episode 6, that cafeteria fight, that was peak for me. I loved it. I feel like we missed some of that in this final fight. I feel like I would have liked to have seen a little bit more I don't know, maybe Stripe and Stargirl doing stuff against Sylvester, a bit more teamwork maybe. Other than that, I did enjoy it. I found it kind of odd that a part of our big finale fight is just 2 elderly people. that's just a weird lineup. But it still worked. I think for the most part I liked it. I think it was probably one of the weaker overall fights. It had some of the best moments of the series. when Pat is versing Sylvester, like that is like the peak of the show for me. Or when Stargirl comes in and says that he's not worthy and that she is, like that's peak. That's peak right there. But I think the choreography, a little bit of the editing was a little, I don't want to say sloppy because it's not. It's great. Right. But for Stargirl standard, it's a little lower than previous fights, I'd say.
I 100% agree. If this was on The Flash, I'd be blown away. But this is Stargirl. Yeah. This is like, this is Stargirl. Like, I had even heard like massive fans of like Game of Thrones where like House of the Dragon was on. It's like Stargirl was having better fights than House of the Dragon. Man, like how did I had heard that. Have you ever seen it? The House of the Dragon show?
I have not.
I like that was one of the like criticisms I heard from a lot of people. Like fights weren't that good, and then when you have like a network television show with a small budget that's getting canceled, having just some of the best fights on TV, like that's such a, and you know I think it just grows to like testament of like how good this show is and what's like a hidden gem. Would you say this is like the most underrated like superhero show on TV?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, seasons 1 to 3 is like when you really look at it. There's no real faults. Like I feel like later in the stream, I'm going to have to apologize for some of my takes of some of my problems with the season. Because I think retroactively, it's not as bad. But just looking at it from an outside view, it's like, how are like people not watching this thing?
Sure.
Like you're watching like, we talked on Twitter and stuff. And I imagine people in the chat have also seen it. Like, I feel like I'm oversaturated with Marvel shows and like Marvel in general. This is like better than anything out of Phase 4 for me. Just Stargirl as a whole, like better than Phase 4, better than some of the stuff I've seen just over the last 5 to 8 years. I feel like Stargirl is like the shining star that deserves its spot on the pedestal, but like a majority of people aren't watching it. That makes me sad. I think one of the biggest like YouTubers out there who do like the videos of like the CW shows, I don't remember their name, but like they do a lot of the big stuff. Like they did an episode on Stargirl and called it like trash or like really weird or odd. And I'm like, what? How do you see it that way? I feel like this is like the biggest love letter to comic book media that I've seen in a long time. I think it's awesome. I love this show. Sorry to bring like out of context other people.
Oh no, you're fine.
One of the like they're like one of the bigger faces, and I'm like, what? This show's great.
Sure. It's really funny to me because like there's a lot happening over at like DC and it's like DC's in shambles. There's nothing good in DC. I'm like, well, maybe just expand your horizon a little bit. Like we have Doom Patrol, we have Stargirl, we even have Superman and Lois, which, you know, I think are each in their own right good DC content, but we're only looking to the main things. And you can argue that with Marvel too. Like we had Daredevil and we had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I don't know. I think it's a little frustrating sometimes when we're so close-minded to one specific genre.
I totally agree. I want to know what are your thoughts on this? Like, I almost feel like it's just because it was on the CW. Because like you go on TikTok, you go anywhere, and all you're going to see is the Flash season 7 fight with whatever his name was, Psyche, and it's the tentacles.
Yeah,
that's all you're going to see, and people that's what people see out of the CW. Obviously, with everything going on in Next Star, I'm kind of done with the CW at this point. Sure. Like with Superman and Lois and the Flash, then I'm done personally. Yeah. But like, what do you think? Do you think it's just because it's like the CW label at that point? Because I feel like a lot of people are turned off by that alone.
I would be very curious if Stargirl got the Titans treatment, because Titans, like, I'm not a fan of that show, but it's been doing pretty well with audiences.
Right.
I've always seen it talked about. So I would be curious if like Stargirl and Superman and Lois got that, you know, got the HBO Max or even the like Max or whatever the heck they're calling it now, treatment. Because I generally think like, especially Superman and Lois, I think Superman, if you had put them on like Prime, like, you know, there's a lot of talks, should it go to Netflix, should it go to Prime? If you put it on Prime or Netflix, I think it's one of your top TV shows, period.
100%.
It's like, it's Superman. This is Superman, getting off track just a little bit, but like he's one of the world's most popular superheroes. I would be very curious. And you know, 100%. Hopefully it does. I do you think there's a chance that like a show like Stargirl could get like renewed for season 4? I have my thoughts on it, but I've heard that like bounced around with a lot of people.
I hope so. And okay, I want to talk about something. You're kind of giving me a good transition here. So when I was watching the final episode of Stargirl and that scene happened, like the final scene where it's in the future.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I don't want you to make fun of me in chat, okay? But this is my genuine reaction. When that scene went down, I was like, oh, this is the alternate scene they chose for the finale. And then Jay showed up, and I went, wait a minute. Is this not? Is this like what is this? And so he shows up and
Yeah.
he's like, hey, we need your help. Let's go. And then it said like the fight never ends or whatever the
Yeah.
phrase was. And I literally did this. Stargirl got saved? I thought it was just season 4. I thought they were fucking with us. Oh, sorry.
Sure.
I
You're
thought
good. You're good.
I thought oh no. And so my best friend who I'm watching the show with, I've been watching it with him, and he's getting to season 3. He knew that the show was canceled, and I almost texted him saying, and like I called him, I'm like, dude, Stargirl got saved, and then like I found out like 2 minutes later it didn't, and that was the bookend. So I genuinely thought it got saved with that kind of transition. Obviously, I know why it was done the way it was now, but in the moment, I was caught off guard. So in my heart, yeah, I hope Stargirl's picked up somewhere. Yeah. I could see that happening, but at the same time, with James Gunn and Peter Safran doing their thing with DC, I cutting with like Wonder Woman and all that kind of stuff. Right now, and like where Blue Beetle's going to be, what's going on with the Flash and Aquaman, stuff like that. Like, I feel like there's almost no way a show like this or Superman and Lois is going to get saved if those aren't getting saved. You know what I mean? Like, I feel because those, like we talked about just a second ago, like people only look at the big stuff, and if the big stuff isn't getting saved or isn't even promoted to some degree or cared for, I should say, then a show like this, I feel like sadly won't get its deserving final season, or at least a final season to wrap up. I would love it, but I just don't see it happening, sadly. But I don't know, that's what I'm thinking.
I think the best case scenario that we could ever possibly get, if we get kind of like a reboot, like I don't know what's happening at DC, but like eventually you would think that maybe they would do a Stargirl, and maybe you could do like I don't know, like Brandon Routh kind of, where he kind of came back into the fray as almost like a new version of the character. Maybe you could see something like that, where she does like reprise her role in this new, I don't know. Is it possible she appears in like the Flash next season? Maybe.
I wish. I hope.
I mean, it looks like she's in Titans. I don't know how I feel about that.
Titans.
Yeah,
next that's the weirdest thing. That is the weirdest thing ever. Like, what is Nightwing just going to say the F word all the time, and Courtney's just going to be like, you guys can cuss over here? We don't do that. We don't really do it that. Like, I don't know. That's going to be such a weird thing.
Sure. I definitely have to wonder how long. Like, I have a feeling it's just going to be like a quick cameo.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Like, maybe it's like a Raven thing. Like, she looks beyond the multiverse or something. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe.
Do you think it's going to be the same Stargirl? Like, do you think they're going to like pop up Earth 2? And then we see this Stargirl. I wonder, because it seems like when Crisis was going down, that like people at Titan seemed like they were better than everyone at the CW. It felt like. So it's like, would they have the courtesy to actually put the Earth 2 and make that kind of connection? I'm curious on what you think.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of get the vibe it might be multiverse related. Because especially if it's just a cameo, I can't see them like introducing. Like I could see them maybe bringing in their own version of Stargirl. Like I could see that, but it seems like this is a cameo type situation. So it'd be like Stargirl is a character that could probably fit on like a team of Titans. I could see that. Yeah. You know, like Young Justice did it, but I don't think we're doing that here. So I think it's going to be some kind of like Vision thing. Maybe they see him beyond the multiverse or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
What's this? If Courtney shows up in Flash, will it be as Stargirl or Starwoman?
Ooh, that's you know what? I guess it just kind of depends on like when she decides to call herself Starwoman, because right now it's like the whole show took place over what, a year and a half.
Yeah.
So like she's how old are these guys again? Are they sophomores, juniors in high school? Or are they seniors? Where does that land? I don't remember.
I read somewhere that Rick is 18.
Rick is 18. Oh, that makes sense because his uncle isn't there and he still lives on his own. That makes sense.
So I would guess they're like juniors, maybe like maybe they're going into senior year. But that's like a good like transition here. Like, what did you think of that like final scene where we got to see where all of our future JSA peeps ended up?
I was so happy. It just made me so happy to know that they're out there doing their thing still. Like that to me is like one of my favorites. Like whenever we had Arrow end and he's like in his weird Spectre world looking out on Star City, that was kind of weird for me. I was like, that's kind of a different ending than what I assumed. Obviously, it's cool that he's the Spectre, but I found that ending to be weird. That weird finality to it. I imagine the Flash is also going to have that book end. So for Stargirl, I mean, we also had Legends and Batwoman prematurely canceled, so they didn't really have a wrap up. I mean, Ryan Wilder just became what was going to be like the best Batwoman that we'd had so far. I love that this show decided to say the fight never ends and that they're just going to keep going. Like, that is the most optimistic ending of any of the shows so far, and I think it is perfect. And we also had what's their ship name? Is it Our Night?
That sounds right.
Name? Right, it's probably something like that. I found you guys, I don't know if you can tell, it's been a while since I've spoken on camera before. I apologize. But I found that to be kind of cute. There's been little moments of that throughout the seasons. I kind of thought at the end they were going to announce they were together, but I like that little wrap up in the end, especially for those fans. And apparently that was planned from the start for that relationship to develop. So I thought that was cool. The mention of what, like the Sandman, was cool. It was kind of odd they didn't call Jenny Green Lantern. I thought that's what they were gonna say, but they did.
Do you think it's a rights thing?
No, I don't know. Because they had it written on the plaque.
Yeah, right? and I think they called her father Green Lantern in season 2, so I don't know why they couldn't.
That's odd. I found that to be interesting. Maybe it's just because they wanted to make sure they knew, or we knew, that it was Jenny, that they just called her that. But I don't know. I found it interesting they didn't call her Green Lantern. And did they call oh shoot, he's not very known to me. Her brother. Why
Obsidian.
Obsidian.
I forget his name too. He was only in like one episode.
Did they call him his name, or did they call him Obsidian? I don't remember hearing Obsidian.
I think they said I don't remember. I think they just said his name.
Yeah, I found maybe that to be the only weird thing. I'm like, I know it's probably just for the audience to know who they're talking about, but it's like we called Star Woman, and then like I just thought we were gonna go by all their aliases. But
sure.
Other than that, I loved it. I love that the Shade is the one doing it as well. He's the one doing the tour, the guide.
Oh yeah,
cool. I love him. He's like amazing. I don't know his actor off the top of my head, but what an amazing actor for this role.
Sure, I didn't. Todd, that's it.
Todd, nice.
What, I don't know. Did you catch it the first time around? I didn't catch it when they first said like Stripe 2.0. I just kind of assumed that was like, oh, it's like a Pat gets like a new suit. But I'm thinking that was probably Mike, right?
Yeah, I thought it was Mike. I just assumed it was Mike.
Right.
And I also assumed that they finally made Stripe durable as well, because it's like the wind is just slightly too fast and his whole suit comes apart. So the whole robot. So I'm hoping Stripe 2.0 has a bit more wind resistance. Hopefully. But yeah.
That's something, like it's irritating, but I also get it. Like, out of all like the budget things, I get like maybe you don't want to have it one episode a season. Totally. I get it. Totally. I get it.
I'm just poking fun, really.
Oh yeah, I know. I it's frustrating. It's like again.
Yeah, right. Like it's just one of those things. But it's not like the Flash where he loses his speed again and again, or the run or the motivational talks. It's kind of like a joke. At that point, it's kind of like a fourth wall. Like, guys, we don't have the budget for this, so we're at least going to destroy it again. Hopefully, that'll be entertaining. Did you see the little Easter egg? You might have been the one that posted it or retweeted it, but it was like in the Hall of Justice or wherever it is. Like, there's like a hallway, and it shows that promo photo, like the poster for Stargirl, like season 1. That was cool.
Oh, well, they had like promo photos everywhere. I was actually shocked that they had like the like Shiv poster that they had, all the individual ones for like season 1. I thought that was great.
I love that stuff. I love that.
Here's a question just for you, apparently. Did you like how the staff situation was resolved?
Are we talking about like just Sylvester owning it rather than Courtney? I mean,
I think
I thought it was okay. I thought the moment of Stargirl getting the staff back and saying that she was worthy and that he wasn't was good. I'm glad that the staff didn't go back into the case Sylvester made or the Ultra Humanite made. I'm glad he went to the regular, but honestly, I might change the question up a bit. I'm kind of disappointed with how the staff was treated. Now that the show's over, I wish we would have seen more with Ted Knight and previous things about the staff. I think I would have liked more about it. But with what we have with the story of the ownership of the staff, yeah, I think the resolution was good. I just overall with the staff as its own character, I wish we had more. I feel like that's what we would have had with getting Sylvester's brain back in season 4. I would have hoped we would have gotten more of that. But yeah, with the situation we had right now between the Ultra Humanite and Stargirl, I thought it was pretty good. I feel like giving Courtney that final moment was very cathartic, where it was just a very good zoomed in photo or like a frame of her saying, "I'm worthy." That was very good. I feel like that really nailed that storyline. So yeah, I think it was resolved pretty well. I just wish we would have gotten more out of the staff in general, I guess.
Sure. I saw a lot of people. It didn't bother me. I feel like less things bother me than a lot of people.
Yeah.
But I saw a lot of people complaining about the fact that like he can just use the staff like he's just like an expert in it. He's able to train Courtney. Was that something you had like an issue with him just being like really good with it?
I will say one moment that bothered me was the shooting star. How the hell did he know how to do that? Like, I understand him going around and finding all the people that knew him or knew Pat and like got the role. Everything makes sense there. How do you know that move? Did Sylvester just have it written down? This is the shooting star, and this is how I do it, and this is how you use it properly. Like, did he do that? Or like maybe because they brought Sylvester back and he was alive for a bit, they were somehow able to take that out of his. I don't know. Maybe you could just say there was, because the brain was connected to a bunch of computers or something, right? Maybe they downloaded it. Downloaded. My headcanon is they downloaded how to use the staff and put a USB on the Ultra Humanite. Sure. And that was the star. And then it downloaded and they popped it out. That's my headcanon.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me that much. It was just, that was the one, was like, he showed her that move. And it's kind of weird that he knew that move.
Sure.
That was odd.
So, okay, I don't have an issue with Pat this episode, but I don't love how he just kind of like got up. Like he's just like, all right, I'm done dying. I'm going to leave now.
Whenever he was being buried?
Yeah. I get we're not going to kill him off. And I get that was a great finale. I just kind of wish they would have handled it a little better. Like, I got a pet peeve with like fake out deaths. Like, I love the Flash season 3. But I hate, like, we kill Iris, and then 5 seconds later, I'm not dead.
Yeah.
It was HR. Haha. I don't know. Like, I can't imagine watching episode 12 to 13 back to back, just like one after another on like HBO Max. It's just like 9 minutes.
Because it was such a morbid moment when it's just like Sylvester stops talking and there's just silence. I was like, oh my God, this is like awesome. But yeah, what were your thoughts going into that finale? Like, how did you think Pat was going to get out of it? Or did you think they were actually going to kill him? Because I didn't think they were going to kill him.
I thought, so did you see the John Wesley Shipp tweet, like, beforehand?
I thought it was going to be Jay.
I thought it was going to be Jay. I thought Jay was going to, like, rush in and save him, and, like, 20 minutes before the finale, like, in a fight, it's going to be like, hey, it's me, and you just see, like, Jay Garrick there. Like, they were going to help in, like the middle of the fight. I thought that could have been a really cool, like, twist.
That would have been really cool.
Which I love John Wesley Shipp, but why tweet about it?
Yeah,
you wait the week before, like we would have had zero idea.
Exactly. I think he just really wanted to make fans happy. He was just like, I'm in it, guys. I swear, I'm in it. But I get it. I feel like he shouldn't have done that, but at the same time, he seems so genuine and kind of sweet. I'm just like, I'll accept it that he spoiled it, kind of.
He is such like a down to earth guy. I love him.
Right.
Like
I would love
every
to
couple
meet
of
him.
months he'll just like retweet a thing of mine, and I'm just like, "You're awesome, man. I love you."
Yes,
and, like,
yes.
all through the season, he's been like retweeting the like promos and stuff like that. I'm like, "You're awesome, man. Thanks."
I just love John Wesley Shipp. He's wonderful. I kind of thought that the Ultra Humanite mentioned, I think, 3 or 4 times this season that the Flash was dead. I thought it would have been so cool if Jay showed up and was like, I'm not dead. What are you talking about? Because he kept saying the Flash. Like that was the one that I remembered. He said multiple times that the Flash was dead. And I'm like, no, he's not. So it would have been really cool if like Jay would have showed up and proved that he wasn't and saved Pat and or something like that. Because when we had the flashback episode in season 2, it seemed that Pat and the Flash had a kind of cool relationship, as maybe like Pat's not as old, but like a bit more of the older side
Sure.
of the JSA. I feel like they had that kind of relationship. I would have liked that. But at the same time, like giving Pat his moment to show that he is something outside of the suit also is good, because he's
Cool.
always
Yeah.
been treated as the sidekick, as the back burner, the basically the coaster for the real hero. And it's like giving him his real moment was cool, but at the same time, it's like, no way. There's no way you're getting an air pocket down there when all of that mud and the rain is getting on you. There's no way. There's no way. But that's, I mean, it's fine. It's fine.
This comment says, in my opinion, Pat would have died if we had more seasons. Do you think that's the case? Like, do you think if it would have been like renewed, he would have actually died? It was like a last minute change.
I feel like he would be a final season death. If they planned out a final season, Pat would be the final, like he would be one of the final deaths in the entire show, because that is such, he's like the emotional core. It would break my heart. It would probably shatter me into a million pieces. I'd have to go out and like take a few days to understand and like process that. But it probably wouldn't have been next season. I imagine the final season, in a way, probably. But yeah, I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they didn't like rush a death either. I'm really glad they didn't do that. So I feel like the core relationship is Courtney and Pat more than anything.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, I never talked about the scene, but my favorite scene of the episode was probably just like them sitting down there, them having that talk, and like, yeah, I did hear your conversation, which that entire conversation, the like episode previously when like Sylvester is just slamming on Pat, and then Courtney just like, nah, screw you, man, screw you. He's my dad. He's really my hero. Moment. Oh, so good, so
Pat
good.
Dugan is my hero. Oh, chills, chills. Man, what a guy. Love Pat Dugan.
For sure. Do you have is there any things that like you really want to talk about? I feel we'll circle around to a couple of other things. Do you have any comments or stuff you want to really talk about?
I feel like I have to acknowledge something. I was wrong about something, but I'd like to explain myself a little bit. Since I don't do my own videos anymore, I feel like this is the perfect time to explain. And I feel like you might have some thoughts on this. So my opinion on Sylvester, the real Sylvester, was anytime we basically saw him in season 2 was most of the time we saw him. He seemed like a manipulative piece of garbage to Pat. He seemed, and maybe that was just because of Eclipso. Maybe Eclipso and that whole thing was what clouded his entire personality. But it felt like throughout the course of the show that Pat was in this kind of abusive relationship with his friend. And it always felt like he put him down. He would always say some negative crap to Pat and just bring him down all the time, and that he would manipulate him. And I thought going into season 3, when when Sylvester would go, okay, I'm not going to take the staff anymore. I'm not going to do that. The next scene, he's like, oh, I'm going to go take the staff. And Pat's like, no, don't. And he just turns around and goes, hey, thank you for also giving me a home and treating me all kind and stuff, Pat. I'm going to go take the staff now. And Pat's just like, okay. I thought it was continuing that seed that maybe Sylvester was a bad guy, and Pat kind of needs to outgrow his friend because his friend lost his way or something like that. I always felt like that was a storyline, but apparently I was completely wrong, because they planned this Ultra Humanite twist from the start. Like in season 1 or season 2, you can see him check for the scar and stuff. Like apparently that was set in stone.
Yeah.
So I'd like to apologize to the internet for getting it so wrong, because I just thought the storyline was that dark. I thought it was going to show that manipulative relationship between like a hero and a sidekick, because we kind of got a similar thing. Minor spoilers. For The Boy season 3 with Soldier Boy, like there was a little bit of that there. So maybe I just got confused with another show, but I felt like there was something there. Did you ever see that side of Sylvester maybe in season 2, or did you see any of that, or am I completely just ridiculous for even thinking it?
Of like what, him just being like an asshole to Pat?
Yeah, I kind of thought he was just always this manipulative jerk. Yeah. So when he was acting that way in season 3, that's just what I thought it was. I thought he was just continuing being a jerk like he was.
Sure. I thought he. Oh yeah. I mean, I like from day one, I always hated how he treated him. ever since that like Backlash episode, or even like episode 1 where he's like, no, not you, can't be you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there, and I had fully expected. I mean, I had my theories. I talked to you a lot about this, how I thought he was like the killer since like day one,
Same.
which
Yeah.
I was like half right. I was there. I was on the
Yeah.
money. I just wrong. I was there. I was in the ballpark. But I definitely thought there would have been like an arc of him being like, "Oh,
Mm.
you're actually your own hero. You're your own."
Right.
Yeah. But I almost like this better. I think
Me too.
because
Me too.
it's just such a good twist. Like
What a great twist.
it.
Like they nailed it.
Yeah. It's
I
kind
just
of
love
a
it.
weird one. It's like, yeah, maybe you could have guessed that he was evil, but you would have
Mhm.
never have guessed it was this exact scenario. Like it's different enough where no one would have guessed this.
No one's guessing he's the Ultra Humanite. Like that is so genius. Like
Sure.
I love that twist. I think that twist really just kind of helps bookend the entire show
Sure.
because you started with the ISA, you kind of end with a different ISA with Icicle for the most part. Having that parallel was great. Bringing Sylvester full circle and having him be the Ultra Humanite lingering in the background the whole time, like that is such a wonderful idea. Like there's always something cooking in the background that our characters don't know. I feel like a lot of that was so solid. There's only one thing that kind of got me was why the hell was Icicle making a puzzle with a skull?
I
That
have
was
no
like the
idea.
only thing that didn't make any sense to me. But like that's fine. You got to suspend your disbelief a little bit, and that's fine. The fact that this bookend was so good,
Yeah.
nothing but praise. Nothing but praise to Stargirl. So I
I
apologize for being wrong. Stargirl's great. It's perfect. And I have no issues.
I cannot think of a final like better season group of
Mhm.
villains because not only do you have like an iconic JSA villain from the
Yep.
past, which is what the show is all about, not only do you have like her mentor Starman, which would be a perfect final villain anyway, but you also have Icicle, who was the season 1 villain. Like all three of them are just like the perfect combination. Where like if this was just our final season villain, I'd be like, all right, that's perfect.
Right.
You
They
know?
got so lucky with that. Like that's the
Yeah.
perfect way to end the show if you have to end it now. Like that's perfect.
Sure.
And like the entire show is basically the origins of the new JSA. So
Yeah.
that the ending is basically their new adventures as the new and improved JSA. That's kind of awesome. Because
It's
we
perfect.
always
Yeah.
saw that the old JSA was rugged. There were issues, and especially towards the tail end, those last couple villains, they really disassembled that team. So to see like this team go from broken, dismantled, disassembled to being reborn. I mean, that's awesome. That's just the coolest thing ever. I don't think any other DC TV show has done what Stargirl's done. They nailed it too. It's not like they had a great idea and fumbled it. Like they had an idea,
Yeah.
they executed it well, and they nailed that ending. Like wonderful show. That's why in retrospect, these last couple weeks, I'm like, this is better than Arrow for me now. And Arrow's been
Sure.
like my favorite show up till this point. Basically, Superman and Lois is amazing. I said it's one of the best of the new era of DC, but no, Stargirl takes the cake.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to say that when I think about how good Superman and Lois is, but the
Yeah.
consistency with Stargirl is that it just is better. I love the show. Oh, I'm so happy the topic of this live stream was Stargirl. I was literally just folding laundry with my girlfriend, and I just went, man, there's no Stargirl tonight. And she was like, oh, I'm
Aw.
sorry. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm just so bad because it's not like a break. It's like we're never getting it again. And
Right.
it just hurt. I was just hurt.
Absolutely. Stargirl does this weird thing for me where like I love it in the first half and then like middle through the way I'm like I don't think I like what they're doing here. I'm not a fan. And by the end I'm like I'm sorry. I was wrong.
I was wrong.
This is everything that you just did was perfect. It was perfect. I was dumb.
Perfect.
Amazing.
That's how I felt when I had to just pull up my tie and say I was wrong about my biggest issue with the season because they nailed it. They fixed it. It is perfect. All praises to everyone at Stargirl.
Now, I'll be honest. I was disappointed at first when Artemis was not in like the final fight with everyone. They like we had Barbara come in shooting. I'm like, oh, she's here. I'm like, oh no, she's not. But did you like her final scene ultimately killing Icicle?
I am so iffy on it. So here's the thing: the show's ended. It's concluded. I believe the Shade mentioned how Artemis came back and is also part of the new GSA as well, which is cool. But at the same time, I think an interesting concept is the idea of ending the loop of violence with her parents. I love the Crocs. They're amazing characters, but their whole point was setting her up to not have to do that anymore. The
Sure.
fact that she could live this life and actually do something other than fighting crime, or like in their case, fighting heroes at some point. Well, you know what I mean. But I feel like one version of the ending where she is just making a life for herself in college and moving on kind of makes me more excited in hindsight, because she got out of it. She got out of that cycle.
Sure.
Because we saw what happened to Henry whenever he passed away. We also had stuff with Cameron and his flippity floppity villain to hero side. So having another legacy hero or villain, you get what I'm trying to say, get that actual out of the business, out of the game, is kind of more interesting to me than seeing her kill Icicle. But in the moment, oh man, it was satisfying seeing her just kill him, because he deserves it. He deserves it after that unceremonious. You know what? It's been a long time since I've been on camera. Okay, unceremoniously or whatever. Like when he just kills the Crocs out of nowhere, and it's just like that sucked so much. So the fact that it happened to him, well deserved. But I would have liked to see her get out of there. What do you think about that?
I had this same thought. Like this, there's kind of this back and forth. I'm like, happy ending, but also cool ending. Like there's this. Well, first of all, I love that he killed her parents with ice and she killed him with fire. That's awesome.
Yes,
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
There's something also kind of fun where like sometimes I enjoy just seeing a character like kind of kill someone. Like I think that's fun. And there wasn't like a we had no dialogue where Courtney's like, you can't kill people, it's wrong. Like she just killed him, and then later on she became the GSA. Like there's no middle ground. She's a killer. And I don't hate the idea of her kind of following in her parents' footsteps.
Yeah, because she's more of like an anti-hero in a way, where she's still on the good guy's side, but she's also doing what her family did. You know, she's got that edge to her. That just made me think of the whole like Yolanda killing
Brainwave.
Megamind, whatever his name was.
Brainwave, yeah.
But like there was that whole point like where like Yolanda was going through like killing. So just thinking about the JSA, there's probably some story where they had to redeem her as well, or kind of talk about that, because that was a huge part of what like season 2 was, Yolanda dealing with that. So it doesn't undermine it in any way. I'm not saying that. It's just kind of a connection I thought of. But yeah, I feel like all in all though, no matter what like my opinions are about it, the scene works. It's awesome. It's badass. And the poetry of rhyming between fire and ice, like that's, like you mentioned, like that's just too perfect. And you're right, Darren. I do like seeing people just get killed. Okay. When Oliver just starts killing bitches again, like I'm just like, yeah, that's the right way. And then they're like, they tell us like, no, it's not the right way. And I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to be clapping for that. You're right. I can't help it. It is fun to see people just get killed. Don't take that out of context, guys.
I'm gonna clip it, post it on your Twitter.
No.
Now, we had talked quite a bit about early on in the season how we didn't like how they were treating characters like Rick and Beth. Do you think our kind of like main trio of characters, did you like their endings that we ultimately got with them?
Our man was rushed, obviously. I think I'm the most disappointed in probably Beth as a character, because she had so much potential. I really thought we were gonna get to see her next season, get the new suit, have the new tech, be a badass, do her things. And it's like to see her kind of end where she's at, and the cathartic arc of her thing, like her whole ending is accepting her parents into being the superhero team. Like that to me is like the worst ending. Not that it's bad. It worked. Okay. It still got me kind of emotional when they were so happy to be sidekicks, especially because everyone hates sidekicks because the way they treated Pat in this universe, that made me happy. But I wanted more out of her character. So Our Man was disappointing because they rushed that addiction storyline. Obviously they had to, with the way the series is going, but Beth had the most potential and Yolanda had the most personal moment. Like if anyone was going to have a talk with their parents in this episode and have that scene, it should have been Yolanda over Beth. And Beth should have got a new costume. Obviously that's me doing hindsight 2020. If they would have had more time to prepare, maybe something could have happened like that. But
Yeah.
I'm overall happy with it because everyone's happy in that time gap, 10 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine. But just speaking as individual characters, I was disappointed by Beth. I wanted more out of Yolanda, and Rick deserved more development because, like, I know you and I both watch Blind Wave
Yeah.
because it's just like what we do, and you guys should totally check out Blind Wave. They're like the best reaction channel out there. They're great. They discussed some stuff similar to this with the endings, and it's like I just would have liked more out of Our Man because his whole 3-season arc was just stop being so angry all the time, and they were right
Sure.
on that. They mentioned that, and I was like, oh my god, that's all he's done. I would have liked more out of him, but yeah, I think overall it was fine. What do you think? Was there anything that you kind of wish you would have changed? Because like I spitballed a couple ideas.
I think as a season finisher, it all worked for me
Mhm.
to an extent. Like it all felt like, oh yeah, we're going to get back to these things later on. I think Beth, like we feel like we've gone with Beth like one extreme or the other. It's like, no, you can't have anything to do with my superhero life. To all right, you're part of our team now. Like you're part of the JSA now. It's like, oh,
Right.
let's find a middle ground here. I thought Beth's ending was beautiful. I've actually
Mhm.
really enjoyed that arc this season. Like since episode 1 or what episode 3, I'm like, move in with Courtney. Come on, let's move in. So I thought her
Right.
ending, I like that's one thing I needed her to kind of reflect on her family a little bit. I thought that sorry, the whole scene was beautiful. Yeah, and yeah, Rick was the one where I'm like, yeah, you didn't really do much.
Right.
But I did love his scene. It was several episodes back where I love that scene where it's like where they're talking about Cameron and they're like, I don't think you should tell Cameron what's going on, but I'm going to follow your play because you're the only thing I have. And I thought that
Yeah,
scene was
that scene.
beautiful. It was like a
Damn.
beaut. Honestly, like season 1, Rick would not have done that.
No.
Absolutely not.
That was actually you. Oh man, that was like a great moment. I just remembered that. That's awesome that you mentioned that scene. That was a really, really good one. Definitely a
Yeah,
highlight. Wow, I forgot about that moment entirely. That was great. Yeah, because he
yeah,
said something on the lines of like, "You guys are like my family, right?" Or
for
something,
sure.
something like that. Like, that is beautiful because he doesn't have anybody anymore. So yeah, that is beautiful. I like that.
We
I
need
just
to
wish we would
like
have got.
go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, that's all I had to say.
We need to make like an orphanage for these kids, at least for a couple of
Can
years.
we?
Get like
Yeah,
Cameron, his father's hurt. Yolanda parents suck. Cindy doesn't
yeah,
have nobody. We just need a whole orphanage. Let's just
straight
like
up. Yeah,
build a mansion. All of our GSA headquarters can be there. It'll be perfect.
I like it. That's perfect.
All right, I have a bunch of questions here, but before I get it, is there any just final thoughts you want to just add before we kind of get into some of my fun questions I have here?
Oh man. Okay, yeah. One last thing I want to mention, just we're wrapping up Stargirl is gotta love that costume department.
They're
Okay.
so good.
They nailed every single suit. It looked awesome. Whether it was the old flashback photo of the Knights and the JSA, those classic comic book costumes. I don't care that they looked kind of cheap. They looked vintage. They looked awesome. They were stripped right out of the comics. Okay. They were
Yeah,
awesome. Then you have the JSA, like the more modern, like the flashback JSA. All their suits looked awesome. I saw a lot of people complimenting Starman's outfit should have been the same tailor for Captain America. I agree, 100% agreed. That was awesome. And then, of course, our new JSA, the way they adapted their new suits and stuff, love it. The only one, once again, was Beth, which I love that outfit. I love how goofy those goggles fit. On, I believe, Angelica Washington. I believe that's the actor's name. Fantastic in the role. Just deserved a better. It's not that the suit's bad. It's that like that's the legacy suit. She kind of needs to make her own. I would love to see if they have any concept art like that's like for real concept art.
sure.
What her costume could have looked like, but the costume department just nailed it every time. And the makeup for Eclipso, oh my god, that stuff was great. And then like the visual effects department when it comes to making characters like Grundy, like all it's just a huge shout out to them. Like
Sure.
that is like a highlight that I feel like maybe I don't talk about that much. Like there's a lot of hard work that goes into making those suits look good. And the fact that they basically there's not like really one that's like bad, at least that I can think of. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing that's like there's like simple ones like Brainwave is just like a green outfit or the jeans and the jacket of Icicle, but at least the visual effects look great. Like I just there's so much personality there. I just want to like say like that's the greatest homage or like love letter to classic comic books.
Sure.
And I just love that. That's my final thing. And Pat Dugan is the GOAT, greatest character of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. I think this show as a whole is like a love letter to superheroes and comic
100%.
books. I would say it's the best like comic-y like superhero show. Like Daredevil, you can argue best superhero show of all time, right? But I feel like when it comes to honoring the comics, honoring the source material, honoring these characters, Stargirl takes the cake.
100%. Definitely agree.
All right, I have a couple fun questions here, and you guys in the comments, we have 8 of you in here right now. Thank you guys so much for watching and commenting. You guys are awesome. If you guys want to tune in and chime what your answers are for all these things, by all means. Now, it was revealed this week. I don't know if you saw this, buddy, but it was revealed that Jeff Johns did have plans for a Stargirl a spinoff show, a Helix Institute.
Yes.
Spin-off show. I just want to ask, is there anything from that show? Would you have watched it? Was that something, do you have any theories of like what it would have been about? What would you have liked to seen from that show?
I have absolutely no idea. I assume Infinity Inc. would be way more incorporated. We'd see that one animal critter.
Sure.
I feel like we would have seen that. We would have probably gotten more Green Lantern stuff. Would have gotten the cool costumes. Like we would have got Jenny in a Green Lantern suit. Oh, yeah, that would have been awesome. Oh my God, sure. Yes. I actually wish I for a second there, I was like, wait, I don't know if I would have watched it. Never mind. Yes, I would have. That would have been awesome. Getting Obsidian, getting Green Lantern, seeing the Shade. Like that stuff is really cool. Introducing a whole new league of superheroes.
Sure.
Probably I would hope Keith David would have been a part of it from the start because Keith David is one of those actors where it's like he's either there the entire time or he's there for 2 seconds and he's dead if he plays the character. And it's like I would have loved to seen him in a recurring role like that. I would have loved to see more of Mr. Bones and that kind of stuff. I don't know anything about like villains or anything. What do you think it would have been about?
I'll be honest, I know nothing about these set of characters. I'm complete, which is one of my favorite things about all these like adaptations. Like I get to learn these characters for the very first time. Like that's awesome. I think my just one thing is like I wanted to see more Jenny and I wanted to see more Shade 100%. And like Mr. Bones and these are characters just like the like Doom Patrol. Like I didn't even know those characters existed. Now they're some of my favorite DC characters. I 100%. Love them. I think that's awesome. And I think CW's done that a lot. Like 15 years ago, like Green Arrow was not a household name. We've turned characters like Supergirl and Batwoman and these characters that like who maybe were like C-listers and now are like A-listers. Like these are some of people's favorite adaptations of these characters. CW has done that since Smallville, where they've turned Booster Gold and Dr. Fate and characters no one had ever heard of. And now they're like, I love these characters because of this. And I think that they would have done that here as well, which is really cool.
That is something the CW did a lot, didn't they?
Yeah. Like we couldn't do Batman, so we did Green Arrow. Same with Batwoman.
Hey, that's what got me into Green Arrow. Yeah. Like I would not have liked Green Arrow as much if I didn't watch Arrow. And now I've expanded it. But yeah, I would not like Green Arrow at all if I didn't watch Arrow on the CW. I got to give a huge props to the CW for giving those characters a chance.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
You already kind of answered this, and I think mine's the same answer, but you got a favorite character?
Pat Dugan. If I can't say Pat Dugan, and I can't say Courtney, and I can't say Buddy the dog, and I can't say, it would be the Shade then. It would 100% be the Shade. Yeah.
Well, let's turn this backwards then. Do you have a character that you don't like? I think that's a harder question.
My initial thought was the Gambler. The Gambler. But no, I love him too much to hate him. A character I don't like.
I'll throw the grandma just like under the bus. Screw her.
Oh yeah. Yeah, she deserved it. She deserved that Wizard of Oz ending. Hated her. Man, if this was season 1, I would have said Cindy with the way she treated everybody in season 1.
Sure.
But I can't say that now. Man, I'm not sure. Wow. The flute lady. Totally forgettable. The fiddler.
Yeah.
Is that the name?
Is that her name? I think it might be.
I think so. The worst character. I don't remember.
Bad for her son. Like I'm like, all right, this guy's going to be a main player. He's either going to join the ISA or the GSA. Nope, he just died in like 3 episodes.
Oh, someone actually just brought it up in chat. No,
Yolanda's mother.
Not even Yolanda's mother. Cameron.
You don't like
No,
Cameron?
that's totally it. The flute lady, that was kind of the one character I just thought that was forgettable, but I really don't like Cameron. I really
Interesting.
don't. That is
You
a
didn't
I
like their little rom-com ending
nope.
at the
Well, okay, no, I was happy for Courtney. I was so happy for Courtney, but it's not even the actor's fault at all. It's just like there are just some moments. Like I mentioned earlier in the stream that my best friend and I are watching the show, and it's just every time Cameron comes up, we're just like, we just can't stand him. And it's not his fault. It's not his fault. Like I liked him the most in this season, but I
Yeah.
think out of everybody, I think the chat's right. I think Cameron's probably my least favorite character. I would rather have the Fiddler back than see Cameron. And I just got to be honest with myself there. I would.
Now come next year, do you think like if he would have joined the JSA full time, do you think you would have liked them more?
Oh, 100%. Same with like Henry Jr. I didn't like him at first, and then I loved him by season 1. I cried when he
Sure.
died. I feel like we would have had the exact same thing with Cameron. It's just because of us not getting that extra season, I find myself not liking him as much.
Sure.
But man, I feel bad for Mr. Dysinger for just dying for no reason. For just not why do you have to die? That just makes me mad. And that's Cameron's fault. If Cameron wouldn't have started painting, Mr. Dysinger would be alive. So I hate Cameron with a passion. I'm just kidding. No, he's not that bad. But yeah, he is the weakest character. Who do you think is the weakest character or the worst?
I think up until the season, I didn't like Artemis. Not because I didn't like her. It just kind of felt like she was just there. Like, I don't know. But by the end, like, I think it took her parents dying for me to be like, I like you. Like, what was it, episode 12 when she's just like screaming against her bed?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, that's where we fully got to see the range of that actor too.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I would totally agree with you there.
I think Artemis, that's another thing. Next season 4 or 5, I probably would have liked her by the end for sure.
Totally.
All right, I got a couple more. These are some fun. What do you think is the status death in Stargirl? Because we've had a lot of deaths. Like surprising, in 3 seasons, we've had a large ratio of deaths.
Oh darn. Can I get a list of who died? Because I feel like I need the Stargirl deaths.
Let's see. We had Henry. We had
Henry
the Crocs. We had the Wizard. We had the Wizard and the Wizard's kid and the Wizard's wife. The whole family just got knocked off.
Oh yeah.
We had the whole ISA. The whole JSA as well, I guess, basically.
Man, the saddest death. I think it has to go to the Crocs because of how fast it was. Like that hit like a train. It was like they walked in and dead. And I was like, damn, because you just saw their bodies and they said, I love you one last time. And then you had the reaction of Artemis seeing the ripped up kind of broken mask. Yeah, I think it has to go to the Crocs. That was rough for me to watch. 100%. I'd say Henry after that because seeing him sacrifice himself that was also very sad. I definitely think it goes to the Crocs for me. What about you?
I think the Crocs' death affected me the most because I love those characters. Like next to Pat, they were my favorite. I wish it was done better though. Like I didn't like how they were kind of just like stab, you're dead. Like they are such trained fighters. Like they are like if I put them against Arrowverse, like they're up there for me. They're so good.
They're really good.
And I kind of don't like they're just like you're dead. Bye bye.
I agree. I think it could have been done better. I agree with that.
I think just like how the scene did it, I would say Henry. Just like how that affected the team, like, and that episode after, like, the whole episode was just mourning of like that character almost. So I think they did a good job there. Obviously, and
there was that tease of him returning, but it was really Brainwave messing with him. Like, you asked me on a different day, it might be Henry too, because that one really affected me.
Pat's tough because like, he didn't really die, but there's also this I don't know, this emptiness after that scene happened.
There was that one second where it was that shot after Sylvester stopped talking. You just there's nothing. Like my heart sank for a second.
If it was if it was legit and I knew it was real, it probably would be number 1 for sure.
Definitely, I would 100% agree.
Because like I have a hard time being upset because the back of my mind is like he's not dead.
Yeah,
you know that's what happened with like Oliver Queen in Crisis, where it's like, well, he's not dead.
They shouldn't have killed him in that first episode. That was a mistake.
It's like this is like a misdirect, and it technically, I guess it kind of was. It was. I don't know. It's weird.
He died like what 3 times because he got killed off screen basically, and then died on a flatbed. Then got brought back in a Lazarus pit. Then did he die again after that?
Yeah, he died again.
And then he got brought back as Spectre. And then is Spectre dead in that timeline?
I always said he
No,
wasn't.
because he's in the comic. I could see the thing right there. He's alive.
Oh yeah. Oh
He's
yeah.
alive.
I guess.
But
That's
Oliver
true.
Queen is kind of dead in a way. He's
I would
beyond
say.
Oliver Queen.
I
In a
don't know.
way.
Can he like just return? I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. That's such a. We still don't know like that much about the Spectre.
Yeah.
In this continuity, I guess. But yeah, I'm with you. Sorry, I just went off a tangent there.
Oh, you're good. Do you have a favorite? I honestly wait. I'll save this one for last.
Okay.
Did you think that the ending we talked about this a little bit? Did you think the ending that we got was a satisfying ending? Or is there something else that you wanted in the ending? Or like, what would your dream ending for Stargirl have been?
Genuinely, if my dumbass wasn't tricked and thought Stargirl got renewed, I think it's a perfect ending.
Sure.
I'm kind of glad we didn't get to see like a future fight with weird looking characters that slightly look older, but they're not. Like the end of Gotham when we saw like, did you watch Gotham?
I did.
I don't remember. Yeah, where you see the weird kind of like cardboard box Batman. Like that was, I'm sorry, that was so dumb. I loved Gotham,
Sure.
but that was stupid. I don't want to see that. I think this is a pretty known opinion online on Twitter, especially is like having oh my god, the Flash final season trailer dropped.
Oh, did it really?
That's what Lance just said. But I would have liked to see you know how we got the picture of the old JSA and the Knights? I would have liked to have seen the real group together one last time. It's just like a photo.
Yeah.
That's the bookend. Because that parallels season 1. And we've talked about parallels over and over again here. And I think that would have really nailed the coffin of Stargirl, and it would have been so beautiful to let that show, knowing that the JSA is out there. It's like the new legacy, you know. That would be cool. But what do you think? Was there something you'd like to have changed?
Honestly, I think this is better than what I was thinking. Like going into it, like this is perfect. I think when trying to think of a perfect ending, I'm like, all right, maybe we have the whole JSA, the new JSA, and you have Pat like take a picture of him, and you get like maybe he hangs it up next to like the old one, and it's like the new and old back to back. Something like that could have been cool. But I think this is even better because we get to see the full fledged. You know what? You had a brain fart with the whole. It's like renewed thing. My first thought when that future thing happened, I'm like, if they come back, we're gonna have to recast all these characters. And like, oh wait, no, they're all in their 30s. They're fine.
Yeah, they're fine.
Like Courtney's actor is like 32, I think.
Wait, who's
Courtney? I'm pretty sure she's like in her 30s.
I thought Courtney was. I thought that was Yolanda. I thought Yolanda's actor was in her 30s.
I think she's in her 30s. I could be wrong.
I'm totally looking that up.
Look it up.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
23.
She's 23. I thought she was in her 30s. I'm dumb.
I'm pretty sure Yvette Monreal is in her 30s.
I know a couple of them are like in their 30s.
Yeah. Yolanda is 30, yeah.
Okay. Well, she looks amazing. She does not look.
Yeah, what the hell? Got the fountain of youth. Could I have a sip? I'm balding and I'm 21.
Sure. Honestly, I think the whole cast does like I think they did such a good job at making them look like teenagers.
Yeah.
Like I think for the most part, like CW, like my brain is I'm numb to it. When I can watch Riverdale and see Archie Andrews 35-year-old man and think he's 20. Like I'm like my brain is wired. I watch Power Rangers going up and all they're like, that's what a teenager looks like. Yeah. Jason Davis.
That with the huge biceps and triceps.
Sure.
It's just like, yeah.
And then like when a show actually has like younger looking actors, I'm like, oh, they're teenagers? I thought they were like,
are these
12.
like 10-year-olds? Like, yeah.
Right. Is like Mike and Jahima minor? Because if not, they look really young. I see season 1 he had to have been.
Yeah, 100% in season 1. That's a great question. I'm also looking that up. Yeah, the actor who plays Mike, Trey, is 17.
He's really good for being 17.
Yeah, no, he is good. I don't know Jakeem's actor. I don't know his name.
Here's a who was it? Lance, it was in your stream. Maybe I'll ask Buddy. Do you think that Jaheim and Cindy ever got together?
Yes. Yep. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense for him to say that. And that was his cathartic moment, was confessing his love and my hopes and dreams. They're happy together. Yep. Well, actually, what's the age? Not right now. I don't know the age difference. That might be a little odd, depending on how old they are in this. I don't know how old Mike and Jakeem are supposed to be. Are they in middle school or high school?
I think. Well,
Are they go to the
I
same
don't.
school?
I
We've
I
seen
don't
them in
know.
school together. So they must be in high
Yeah.
school. So maybe a few years after high school, then I'm good with it.
Okay.
That's my on the record thing.
All right. I have a couple more questions here, and then I'll let everyone go, and they can go watch that Flash trailer. I know everyone's dying to see
I'm
it.
looking for it, and I don't see it. I don't see it anywhere. I've been
Maybe
looking
Lance is
for it.
trolling with us. It's possible.
Lance, you can't do that to me. We just had that fake trailer a little bit ago.
Now,
Okay.
we talked about at the beginning of the stream amazing fights that the show has. You have
Mm.
a favorite fight in Stargirl?
You know, I feel like the season 2, episode 6 cafeteria fight is the best wire work they've ever done.
Sure.
I prefer wire work over weird, wonky CGI or lackluster fights. I prefer seeing the wire or like seeing the weird movements. I think the highlight of this season was definitely the market fight. That was so good. Oh my God. I watched that fight at least a couple times a week. It's so good.
Sure.
In that store. I feel like an honorable mention is that season 2's finale. It was in that, I don't remember where they were. It was in one of the buildings in the town, and it was a really closed in because the market had such a verticality to it because of the market, so they have a lot to work with there. This was, and same with the cafeteria. It's very long. They have a lot of room to play around with. It's you kind of caught me off guard here, but I'm trying to explain it as best as I can. It's in the finale of season 2, and it's in that room where like there's just like an office. It's like an office, I think. I don't remember where it was. And they're just like, it's such a closed in fight. So when they have to do the flips and stuff, that fight I feel like is like the best because of how restricted they were clearly in that fight. I hope that makes sense. I don't remember exactly where it was. It was probably at the American Dream or something like that. But that was pretty cool too. And they also had like the little kid for Eclipso in there. So just seeing that little kid have to like flip around for a little bit before he becomes like a full on Eclipso. Like I like that fight. That one has a special place in my heart because it's the finale of season 2. But if we're talking purely the best of the best, it's season 2, episode 6. And then the honorable mention is that market in season 3.
Yeah. I would say I forgot about this scene, but they said the Cindy/Courtney fight in season 1, that like first one in like the high school where they're kind of like fighting for the first time. That one was really cool. That was like the moment I'm like, that was a moment I'm like, oh, they can do like really good fights, you know, because I like that original like ISA one with
right.
Well, like that's how you open the show. It's just them fight. Like that one was really good too.
Yeah, I see the one you're talking about now in episode 7. That was a really good one too. Damn, a lot of the fights in the school were really, really good.
Yeah. I don't know how they have the budget to fix it every 6 months.
No idea. Dude, oh man, school budgets are ridiculous. School budgets are so dumb. There's no way. There's no way. And the fact that their arts program was that big, no way. No way. Absolutely not. That's unbelievable.
This is a really small town.
All they're going to care about is football. That's all they're going to care about. Because I'm from a small town, and all they care about is football. It's all they care about. They could give
100%.
2 craps about bands and arts. Stargirl, come on, you're not accurate enough.
I think my favorites, it might be that season 3 market store fight scene. I love fight scenes in places you're not supposed to fight. Like I love supermarket fight scenes. I love church fight scenes. I love church fight. I'm a sucker for church fight scenes.
Yep. Those definitely hit different.
Yeah. I even like I like season 3 had some really like interesting placements for fights. Like I love the whole house scene in Cameron's house. Like that one was really good too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, I forgot because when Artemis just hops through that window and starts kicking ass. Yeah, that was good.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I just because Lance just tagged us. I did send the trailer, and so whenever you want to watch it, obviously we don't have to on stream, but like just whenever you want to. It's like 30 seconds. That's interesting.
I'm probably going to opt not to show it in the stream.
Totally, because you could totally get hit right away.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna pass on that, but we can all enjoy it right after. Just a couple more minutes as we kind of.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you, Lance. Thank you for tagging us. We will definitely watch that afterwards.
Totally thought you were trolling me for a minute. It's about to be heartbroken.
Just a couple more. Do you have a favorite villain? Because this show, really good villains, fantastic villains.
I don't think I can say the Shade because most of the time he's a hero.
Right.
He's too good. Yeah, he's too good. Damn, I think Eclipso, that little kid, pissed me off every week. So it's Eclipso just for the kid alone. The actor who played Captain Boomerang was also the actor who played Eclipso.
Yes.
Amazing
He did so
dual
good.
roles. Eclipso is amazing. If I can't say Eclipso, it's Ultra Humanite as Starman. That is such a great villain to be cooking in the background. So I'd say those two. Eclipso probably, you asked me on a different day, but Eclipso I feel like just takes the cake because of that little kid is too damn good at acting.
He's
like
so good. I really hope he gets like tons of roles.
Same.
I hope he is
way too skilled and talented to not have a great career.
Yeah, give him a lead in a show or something.
100%. Who do you think is the best villain?
I don't know if they're good because they're a good villain, but he got his redemption. But Sportsmaster, I love that man so much.
Yeah.
If we talk about like full-fledged villains, I just think honestly, it's cheating just to say the whole ISA, I guess, huh?
No, I'd allow that. They're all that good. I mean, I think the only one that sucked was, what is his name? The Magician or whatever. He just kind of died right away.
Yeah, he wasn't bad. He was just there to be oh yeah, they'll kill their own team. Brainwave was fun. Like Brainwave was scary.
Oh yeah, Brainwave was great, and that little like fear of maybe him being back in season 2.
Sure,
that was very threatening. That actor, where else is he in? He's in another project. Was it Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm rewatching season 6 with my parents for the first time, and they
nice.
He just kind of shows up, and I'm like, oh, it's him.
Hey, it's Brainwave! That's exactly what I did too. I was like, oh, Brainwave! Which, hey, if you're ever going to do an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. live stream, hit me up for that, because I totally want to talk about that shit.
I have videos. I'm like, I can maybe do this. I'll maybe hit you up for one of them. There's actually a lot of characters from the Arrowverse and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They have Lynn in early seasons from Black Lightning. You have like Ricardo Diaz.
Yeah.
There's quite a few.
One time, the Ricardo Diaz actor and the Diana Drake actor showed up in Walking Dead. I don't watch the Walking Dead show, really.
Yeah.
I read the graphic novels, but I was sitting with my girlfriend and I was like, wait a minute, I know these guys. They're from Arrow.
Sure.
And she's just like, I don't care. And I'm like, I do.
I am such a child with that. Every time I know someone from another thing, I'm like, it's him. It's him. It's the guy.
I always complained on my channel about I hate when movies and TV just give us stuff to point and say, oh, I know that. But that's different. This is different, okay? Because I'm just like, oh, it's that guy. It's that person.
Have you seen the argument on like Line recently where it's like, oh, it's like Marvel stars aren't movie stars now. They're just Marvel characters. I've done that my entire life. Back to like he will always be like Doc Brown for me, and there's so many iconic characters. I'm like, that's just that character, and I'll always associate them with that. I've thought about that a lot recently.
All right, do you think like, okay, yeah, I get that. I kind of agree with that in a way, because like with what happened with Doolittle, like Iron Man's like the most popular character in the MCU, and as soon as Robert Downey Jr. did Doolittle, that thing flopped like hard. I think there's warranted reasons. Wasn't that Tarantino who said that?
I think so.
Of course.
You also had it, Mackie, too. Anthony Mackie.
Oh, did he also say that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I think I would agree. There's some certain characters that are just like, I just see you as the character. I don't go see movies because of you. But at the same time, I disagree, because there's like actors like Chris Evans. I'm gonna watch something that Chris Evans is in because I think Chris Evans is cool. I think he's a good actor. But like, yeah, I'd agree. I would say someone like Robert Pattinson, who my last video on my channel was talking about him and how great he was. I've only really seen like the Twilight movies and the Lighthouse and then the Batman with Pattinson. And because of the Batman, I want to see more of Pattinson. So I would say that I agree with what Tarantino was saying in some degree. I mean, we've seen it just flat out. Not everybody goes just for the actor. That doesn't mean that's not the case for everybody. But in my personal case with Pattinson, like I want to go see more of what he's done because of Batman. So yeah, it's like a case-to-case basis for me on that.
I think the argument, I don't have an issue with the statement at all. I think the argument where it's only Marvel movies that are doing that is weird, because this has been happening for the last 20 years.
Right.
You know, like this isn't a new thing. Like Eddie Murphy's always going to be Donkey, like there's stuff like that. Like
you have Mark Hamill, who wanted to get out of being Luke Skywalker and then just became the Joker.
Harrison Ford is always like Indiana Jones, and
yeah.
This isn't a new.
Funny, Mark Hamill did it twice. he was like, I don't want to be known as Luke Skywalker. And then it became the Joker. That's what he's known for, is the Joker and Luke Skywalker. Like, it happened to him twice. That's crazy. And same with Harrison Ford. Yeah, like you mentioned with Indy and Han Solo. That's crazy. That's crazy. It happened to 2 Star Wars actors, too. Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a little bit on a tangent there. I have one final question, and then if you want to chime in any final thoughts or anything.
Cool.
I just have, what's your favorite moment from Stargirl? All 3 seasons. Do you have a favorite like definitive moment that you're like, that's my favorite moment in Stargirl?
I really liked Courtney going through the Shadowlands with Cindy. I found that to be very personal. That, to me, what makes a superhero is what they do outside of the suit, kind of. Like, she's not Stargirling around with the staff, kicking ass, and there. She's being Courtney. She's being the human, talking to the human, Cindy, which her dad never saw her as that. Saw her as property, treated her like shit. Like, that is my hero. That's my hero doing her thing. She's doing the good outside of the suit. I think that's a beautiful moment, a beautiful episode, really, of seeing her go after this villain and making her a friend in a way. That, to me, is what a hero is. So that one's great. But you also got the moment where she stands up to Starman or the Ultra Humanite and talks about how Pat is her hero. I feel like that is the definitive best moment because it just nailed every bit of her character. But I feel like, just to be different, the Shadowlands is a really good moment as well to mention, because that's what a hero should do. And I think they nailed that.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great one. That's a fantastic one. Mine's very similar as far as like personal. Like, I'm a sucker for like the very emotional, character driven stuff.
Yeah.
It's the episode. It's almost like a series of events, not just kind of one individual moment, but it's the episode after Henry dies. All the characters are mourning, and Courtney's father comes back, and he takes the locket, and Courtney goes aside, and she's crying, and Pat, he goes up to her. He's like, hey, if you need to talk about it, if you need to cry, if you need to punch someone, I'm here. And she kind of just goes in her arms and goes in his arms and starts bawling, and Barbara's behind him. And then, like, the moments that precede this, he goes outside, decks the father. And then ultimately, like, because the staff has stopped working for Courtney too. She feels like she lost her father. She lost the thing that's connected to her the most, and she lost her staff. And now that she has kind of believed in herself once again, now that all this trauma is out of her body, she's able, in my opinion, to become Stargirl. Like, that's for me the moment that she becomes Stargirl. It's not defined by Starman or her father or Pat. Like, she's Stargirl.
That's nailed it. Scene. Oh. That was beautiful.
Before season 1, I wanted to write like a video essay on that episode, like, because that's in my like top 5 DC TV episodes. Like, I love that episode so much.
It's so good.
It's so good. I've been thinking about that for a while, so I just let it all out.
That's a beautiful. You described that beautifully. That was wonderful. You made me think of that locket. I don't know if you guys saw this or in the chat with or Darren, if you saw this, but like, I looked up some stuff about Stargirl, and it's like, there, like, Jeff Johns had in the script or the screenplay and had it planned out where she goes and oh shoot, who's the gambler's daughter?
Becky.
I should have remembered that. Becky. And she goes, and it's like when she's talking to her about the gambler and talks about fathers, like, that's Courtney's whole thing. I really like the way Jeff Johns described it. It was like the whole series is about the father aspect. That Stargirl is always going to have her father in the back of her mind. For her whole life. That's so interesting that she reaches for the locket, realizes it's not there, and just moves on. I found that to be a really interesting moment that I didn't even notice it. It was one of those things that's like in the background, and it's like, that's so cool. That's when you just understand the character. And obviously he created this version of the character. And that's such an emotional center. I love that moment where she goes for that locket and remembers it's not there. That's just so beautiful to me. I love that moment. And that connects back to, obviously, whenever he gets punched in the face and he deserved to get, like, just, I don't know. I wish so many more things would have happened to that man, but Pat had to hold restraint, and that's okay.
Sure. Definitely. And it definitely felt like there's some callbacks to those kind of stories in the finale when her and Pat are sitting there. Felt like some things really came full circle. Even like the Mike stuff, I love. We didn't mention this before, but like Mike meeting his mom, and like that whole car scene, so good.
It's so
That's
beautiful, so simple and human. Like that,
yeah,
yeah. Wow. Whenever he's like, he says I love you to Barbara and calls her mom, and it's just like they all just start breaking down and crying. Like that's the shit that's
yeah,
cinema right there. That's peak. Okay.
right,
Like I love the wire work fights. I love the costumes. I love the characters, the goofiness, the homage to classic comic books. But if you've got a human, emotional, and just natural
sure,
scene, that's what's going to be the best. And that's kind of what we talked about in our favorite moments, is like that kind of stuff. That's what gets us.
yeah,
um no matter how big and bombastic superheroes are, we're only going to care about the human stuff at the center. If it's not good like that, we're not going to enjoy it. I'm speaking personally here, I don't want to speak for you, but I imagine
yeah,
you agree to some degree there. But it's just like that, having that human center really matters. And that Mike scene was really good. I'm really glad
hmm,
they included that. That's a big thing. I mean, uh, we talked about the parents of these shows. Obviously, we're around the same age. I think like 1 year apart. And it's like
yeah,
entering adulthood and dealing with everything with parents and families, and everybody grows up differently, and we all have different traumas or issues or things we're getting over or whatever, right? And it's just in media like this, when you see these relationships that are different than what we've seen in the past in TV. And I'm going on a tangent, but I think it'll be okay. Like you see the nuclear family was a huge thing where they wanted to promote the American dream of a mom, dad, girl, boy.
yeah,
And it's like we've gone so beyond that. There is no nuclear family anymore. That's not a thing that it matters as much. Obviously, it still happens all the time. A lot of people think that, but our world has evolved so much over just the last 50 years that it just, seeing stuff like this makes me so happy, because a lot of media doesn't show this side of stuff.
sure,
Like whenever you look at like the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, there's not a lot that kind of goes into that kind of family aspect that I kind of wish we had. That a more family centered thing with him and May. I feel like we could have had more there. Like this is the stuff that I really enjoy, seeing all of these people come from so many different backgrounds, dealing with so many different things. Not everyone's parents are good. Not everyone has a Pat Dugan and a Barbara. And I just think
yeah,
it's so nice to see that. I loved seeing all these characters just come together throughout whatever they've been through. It's just so nice to see such an optimistic take on realities that's so dark sometimes. Like you forget how sometimes like life gets in the way of happiness sometimes, and to just see these people go from such dark places to such a beautiful, optimistic way. That this is why I love this show, because you look at all the
yeah,
superhero shit, it's cool, but this to me is what makes Stargirl good. Is just seeing all these people come together and fight their adversities, fight their traumas, and learn to grow and be better.
yeah.
It's just too beautiful. Sorry about that tangent. I hope that was
No,
okay.
no,
I
that was
really,
amazing. Nice job.
I loved, thank you. I love that stuff. And I don't talk about that as much anymore, obviously, since I ended my channel. So I
Yeah,
thank you for letting me come on here and talk. I've really appreciated it. And I just love that media is becoming the way it is. I want more Star Girls. I want more of
sure.
this. Please give me more. I miss it so much.
And I think this is also kind of the stuff that made like Arrowverse and stuff like that like so good in like
Mhm.
in the beginning, like seasons 1 and 2 of Arrow and Flash and Legend. Like I think we saw a lot of that then, and I think with Superman Lois season 1 and Stargirl seasons 1 through 3, I think they haven't been able to kind of bring back that feeling for me that I hadn't
100%.
felt in a while, which I love. You know,
Yeah, I
I'm 100% with you.
Yeah. I really, you brought up Superman and Lois, like with Jordan dealing with all of his anxieties, like I really related to that
Yeah,
like a lot. And I was just like, I can't believe a Superman show is focusing on this.
right.
I love it. That is so human, especially somebody like Superman. And just I love stuff that's human, guys, if you can't tell. I love the easy. I think it's kind of easy and hard at the same time, because it's stuff we all know happens and exists,
Yeah,
but it's hard to talk about or express sometimes. And I just think that yeah, you're right. Like the CW's done a really good job at expressing a lot of that, and especially in this new era that's sadly kind of ending, they nailed a lot of that. And I just
yeah,
wish we would have had more of it. Um, like I love shows like Peacemaker and stuff, but they hit on some of this stuff, but it's not done in the same way, and that's just what makes these shows like gems. And I really, this kind of spins back to something we talked about earlier. I really wish more people gave these shows a chance, because I think that they would see what we see, And I don't know. I just think these shows deserve maybe a bit better and a bit more
Yeah,
respect than they're given. Because like, look at how long we've been talking about these shows and how much more we could be talking about these shows.
sure.
There's so much we could talk about. I just don't think they get a lot of credit where they deserve it.
100%. I think, like, I could go on a tangent of how I
Oh
think
yeah,
modern TV is like kind of dying, and
yeah,
with streaming, I there's a part of me that will always love a good 13 episode, 18 episode, even sometimes 22 episode seasons where we can just have an episode where like these characters have these deep conversations and these deep meanings where like I think Peacemaker is amazing, one of my favorite things
yeah.
ever. But you
Very
can't
good.
do that with 8 episodes of television. Disney Plus, I love it. You most certainly can't do that in 6 episodes of television.
Oh
That's like a movie and a half. Like
man,
I
oh
could go on a rant with Disney Plus stuff, but
the
like
6 hour movie is gonna go down in history as one of the worst ideas that's ever been brought to our screens. That
100%.
is a terrible thing.
What is really sad is I think that, and we still have Superman and Lois, but like I think
Mm,
come next year with Flash, Superman and Lois, that's going to be the end of this era of superhero television. Like
100%.
I didn't always love Netflix superhero stuff, but like they made shows, which I loved.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not. I don't know. Hopefully we can get back to it. I mean, Daredevil has 18 episodes a season, so hopefully we can get some of that back in some
Oh,
way.
please give me human Charlie Cox, and please don't mess up his hairline again. They did him dirty twice. They did him dirty twice with that hairline. That's just a tangent. They did my boy wrong, especially in Spider-Man No Way Home. Oh my god. I've got a receding hairline that's pretty bad. But like man, they messed him up. That's just some joking right there. But I hope there's a lot more like do you think this is kind of a side thing? Do you think they're gonna bring back like Foggy and characters like that into the new Daredevil show?
I think I honestly don't know. I could see it going either way.
Yeah.
I think they might try. I think they're going to try and keep it as similar as possible until there's
Mhm.
something they don't like, and then there's just like let's pick that out. Let's change that
Yeah.
up.
Right.
Bullseye? You didn't have a bullseye. Let's get Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt's bullseye now. Come on now. I think I think and I think that's going to be it for all the shows. I think I'm so nervous. I don't know when they're going to do it. If they're going to do it, I'm so nervous for my Shield family because
Oh no.
I'll say this right now. I love you, MCU. Don't make Daisy a mutant. Don't do it. Don't touch
Oh
her.
yeah,
Don't do it.
please, God, don't do that. Did you see that one rumor? I think it's been dismissed, obviously, since the Quantumania trailer, but there was like a rumor that Bill Murray was playing Fitz, and I
Yeah.
was so mad. I was like,
Isn't
please don't.
Fitz is like an original character, isn't he?
I thought so.
I think
I
he
totally
is.
thought so. Please
Yeah,
don't
no,
mess
I don't.
Agents of Shield. Please don't.
Huh?
Please
Yeah,
don't
no, I
touch
think
Agents of Shield.
I think it's so easy just to place some places without touching anything, right? You can
Yeah,
literally just put Daisy in like an episode of like Secret Invasion. Don't talk about her past, just have her there, kick some
just
people's
have her
butt,
there.
leave. Boom. It's
Yeah.
that easy. That easy. Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is so simple because you can just pass the mantle. Just don't make it an origin story. It's that simple.
Boom.
I don't know. I'm not saying I need like a Daisy Johnson show. Just
I do.
well, I mean, I need it, but like I could do.
I
It's
do.
fine.
I miss
Just don't.
Chloe Bennett. I
I
do.
do.
She was great.
I
Ah,
think we will get her though. I know we're
I
way
hope
off
so.
on a tangent, but I think we'll get something because I
Hey,
think
you
they
know
know how
what?
strong those fandoms are.
Yeah, we went from one underrated show to the next. A lot of these shows are underrated.
100%. But buddy, thank you so much for coming on here talking about this amazing
Of
show.
course.
All of Buddy's info, his Twitter, or his Twitter's down
Thank
below,
you.
and
Thank you.
his channel with a whole backlog of amazing videos, including his
A
streams, which we
lot of
talked a lot about.
videos.
Go check him out. He's amazing content, super underrated content creator, and I mean this.
Thank you.
I
appreciate that.
fully think that you're one of the best content creators on this platform. That even though you're not doing as much on it anymore, I think you're just amazing. So
Aw,
go check all of his stuff
thanks.
out.
Aw, that makes me so happy. I know we're wrapping things up, but I gotta say thank you for having me on here. We've been talking for so long, and I'm so sad that like I ended my channel before we made a video on there. I think it's kind of poetic in a way to end on a Batman video for me, so I don't want to like make another one. I was thinking about making some tributes to people we've lost recently, but I won't get into sad stuff. But I'm very happy we were able to actually do something and talk, and I want to be on here as much as I can. everybody in our Arrowverse community is so kind and so welcoming. I'm so thankful to be on here. Thank you for letting me go on my tangents. Thank you for letting me apologize to the internet for being wrong. That weight is off my shoulders. And I'm just so happy we were able to talk about such an amazing show. And I'd love to be back on here anytime you want me, and I can. I
Yeah,
would love to.
absolutely, man. Just like anytime you want to do something, hit me up. My inbox is always open. I'll probably be reaching out every once in a blue moon to
Awesome.
do something. This was so much fun. Thank you so much.
So much fun. So much fun. Thank you guys for watching. And make sure you're subscribing and sharing to your friends Darren's channel, okay? Going through an entire rebrand. Okay, that's a big move. Support Darren's channel, please.
Thank you so much.
That's a big step, man. That's such a crazy thing to do. I'm so excited to see what you do in the future. I really am.
Thank you a lot, man. But guys, again, do all the stuff we already said. Do all the subscribe and Discord and blah blah blah. You guys already know it.
Come on, you're already doing it, right?
Yeah. I mean, just do the things. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye bye. See how long.